You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
The first edition of the FIFA Women's Futsal World Cup will take place next year in the Philippines. Our Futsal Ferns will be there by virtue of winning the first ever OFC Futsal Women's Nations Cup in Honiara a week ago. They beat Fiji 7-1 in the final. Hannah Kraakman, captained the New Zealand side, was also awarded the Golden Ball as player of the tournament. And Hannah Kraakman is with us. Congratulations on what you and the side achieved in Honiara. Hannah, 36 goals scored, only 3 conceded. With a week or so to reflect, how do you assess the way the team played to qualify for the World Cup?
Yeah, no, thank you as well for having me on this and to speak about it. I think, it's a really exciting time for futsal in New Zealand. And in terms of how the team played, I mean, we had a few days camp before we went across to the Solomon Islands beforehand to kind of work on kind of team tactics and things like that. We have a lot of New Zealand-based players, but also a few, 5 or 6 of us kind of overseas as well. So it was really good to come back together and just work on kind of, the team tactics and what we were focusing on, and we just kind of focused each game as it came, and we're working on kind of the main principles that we kind of want to play as a team together.
Can you tell us how long this has been in the making and how much work has gone into qualifying for the first ever Futsal Women's World Cup?
Yeah, no, definitely. It has been a long time coming. I think we've heard that a lot, but it's I think 2017 was when the first ever kind of women's Futsal Ferns team was established, and we played 3 internationals against New Caledonia. Since then, we've had another tour against China in 2019, I think it was. But it's a lot of work from a lot of different people. There's people that aren't currently at NZF but have put a lot of time, like people like Dave Payne, and then you've got people like Marvin Eakins as well, who is currently in Thailand with the men who are at their pre-World Cup tournament. So in general, there's been lots of work from lots of people, and just grateful for everyone that's kind of come before us to help kind of pave the way to get us there as well.
Yeah. It seems incredible that it's taken this long for there to be a Women's Futsal World Cup, but here we are. The first one is next year. Can you tell us when you found out that there would be one and how motivating that was for you?
Yeah, I think it was 2022 we found out, I think towards the end of the year. And me and a couple of my friends and futsal teammates had actually moved over to the UK earlier in 2022. So I think, and part of, not the only reason, but I guess a big part of the reason was to play more futsal more regularly. They've got like a full season over here and we're playing and training every week now. So it was kind of a big motivation. Then to hear that a few months after kind of moving over here, which has kind of made that move a lot more worth it as well, to have that, pinnacle world event to work towards.
And as I mentioned at the start of the chat, you were the winner of the Golden Ball for best player at the tournament. I know you'll say it's a team game. It is a team game. But how personally satisfying was it for you to lead from the front and win that award for player of the tournament?
Yeah, no, obviously it's always really special, and to be recognised with the Golden Ball, it was obviously a proud moment for myself. And I think I have been working hard the past few years. I mean, I think I did my ACL. I can't remember how long ago. It was a while ago now, but we didn't have much futsal action for a while. And so I've just been working on kind of getting back to where I was before I did my ACL. And I think getting the Golden Ball maybe finally shone. I've got back to a good place, and hopefully I'm kind of can lead by example and show people in New Zealand there's pathways in futsal, and hopefully kind of inspire more people to play as well. It's really kind of what I want. And credit to my teammates though. I mean, everyone had amazing games, and it's a really special moment.
Well, tell us a bit more about the squad that you've got together, the mix in terms of the levels of experience, like yourself, and maybe some of the younger ones coming through who, may go to a number of World Cups in the future.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think we had a really good mix of kind of experienced and kind of new players coming through, which just goes to show, obviously, we have kind of grown the pathway in New Zealand a lot. Like there's the high school competition is huge now, which is really exciting. And we've obviously got our national league as well for players to move into after high school. But in terms of our squad at the moment, I mean, I think there was 5 or 6 of us from the original 2017 squad that also featured in the Solomon Islands recently. So that's really cool. And I think it's like 7 or 8 years, for us. So that's, I guess, really special. But in terms of the mixture, like the young players, you've got kind of Gemma Catherwood, Jamie Evans, Geordie, Jordana Bremner as well, who, I mean, those 2 players are just unreal, and they've kind of come through the pathway. I think they're around their 20s. So they have, I guess, a long future, hopefully, in futsal. That's what I want to do and keep doing. But they were all amazing in the Solomon Islands, and really good for them to get kind of that international experience as well. Just the pressure, especially in the final, like it's a different kind of pressure that you feel when you're playing in a final compared to like the group games. So I think for them to get that experience as well. We were actually, it was 2-1 at half time. So I know the scoreline 7-1, shows like a decent gap, but we were 2-1 up at half time. So it was very close. It was very tense out there. Like the finals can go anyway, especially futsal. It's end to end. You never know what's going to happen. So for those 3 young players to get that experience of that kind of intense game, I think was really good and really promising for the future of our team.
Do you have a background in the traditional 11-a-side game, Hannah? Outdoor football? And when did you start taking futsal more seriously?
Yeah. I mean, I started playing football when I was 5, like lots of people didn't do in New Zealand. But yeah, I actually only started playing futsal probably around 17, 18. One of my friend's dads, actually Danielle Bradley, who's one of our goalkeepers in the team, her dad Sal actually kind of got a bunch of us together playing futsal when we were kind of 17, 18. We all met, a lot of us met kind of through football at that time as well, and so we kind of just started playing for fun because we were all from like different parts of like Auckland, and all kind of just came together as a friendship group and we're playing futsal. So that's kind of how my futsal journey started, and then a couple of years after that is when we kind of maybe started taking it a bit more seriously. So at university, there's kind of university competitions, and then in 2017 the World University Games in Brazil was on. So that was probably the moment where it was like, okay, there are opportunities, although maybe it's not as many opportunities as in football at the moment. Like there was still kind of some really exciting opportunities, and I just fell in love with the game. So wanted to kick on with it.
Great stuff. So you're one of the first teams to qualify for the World Cup. In fact, I think the first team to actually qualify, the host, the Philippines, of course, will be there too. So you've got best part of a year or so to prepare. Ideally, how often will you spend time together as a team in preparation for that first World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I want to say, but realistically, I think it would be amazing to get a couple of tours under our belts before the World Cup. There isn't actually a date set yet, so it has been said that it's going to be kind of October, November roughly is kind of what they're looking at, but no kind of exact dates yet. So hopefully at least kind of 2 tours where we can go play a few countries beforehand would be amazing. And then for the players based in New Zealand, I think it'd be great to have kind of, weekend camps leading up throughout the year essentially. And our national league is in kind of January to April is when players will be training and playing with their kind of regions. So especially after that, ramping it up to, a couple of sessions a month for the New Zealand-based players at least, and then the overseas-based players coming in for tours or camps where they see fit. But obviously budget constraints and things like that. So we'll just hope for the best and see what we can get. Yeah,
well, hopefully they'll get a decent program together for you. And you mentioned Marvin Eakins before. We had him on the show yesterday, coach of the Futsal Whites, your male counterparts. They're about to embark on their Futsal World Cup for the first time in the next couple of weeks. How pleased were you for them to make it after a few years of trying unsuccessfully?
Yeah, no, I was ecstatic for them, and they probably have been maybe working towards qualifying for that for even longer than we have for our one. So I think I know Marvin would have been super proud and super excited for the opportunity to go over there and be involved in the first World Cup for the men. So super proud of them, and really excited to see what they can do. Obviously got their few games in Thailand as well before the World Cup, and then super excited. Excited for them and excited for you, Hannah, as you've guided the Futsal Ferns to their first Futsal World Cup next year in the Philippines. Thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations. Hope you get plenty of build-up matches next year, and again, appreciate you taking the time for a chat today. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Hannah. Hannah Kraakman there, the captain of the New Zealand Futsal Ferns, off to the Futsal World Cup in the Philippines at the back end of next year.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.